everyone, this is Vasudha.
Hi, this is Kevin.
And we are now going to react to not a movie trailer.
What?
Yes.
Oh.
So, like we said when we started off this channel, we are going to do something more and different and all that. So, here we go. So, what we are going to see today is we are going to talk about, I'm not sure how much you're familiar with this. There is a farmers protest going on in India.
I've seen it, yes.
Yes. So even I have a little knowledge about it. So since I've been here for a very long time, I have a very little knowledge about this. So I thought, let's watch this video where they are explaining why this protest is happening in India.
Okay.
So then we can talk a little about it. Well, the good part about this video is they have a subtitle. All right.
For me.
Yes. Actually, even for me. Even I don't know. All right, let's go ahead and watch this.
So this is no way of handling such an agitation. ये इनकलाब है सर, ये revolution है.
Thousands of Indian farmers have encircled the capital, New Delhi, protesting against the new farm bills that they say threatens their livelihoods.
Thousands of farmers continue to block roads into the capital, Delhi.
Indian farmers blocking roads in a protest against new laws.
In September, a set of 3 laws were enacted by the Modi government as reform measures to help rid India's vast agriculture sector of archaic laws. Authorities say that the new laws will allow farmers to sell produce and boost production through private investment. But farmers usually sell their produce at government-regulated wholesale markets, locally known as mandis, where they are assured a minimum procurement price. Protesters fear the new laws will leave them at the mercy of private buyers and vulnerable to exploitation that could dictate the market price and possibly erase minimum limits.
कमेरे वर्ग को लूटकर पूंजीपतियों की तिजोरी भर रहे हैं. पूरे हिंदुस्तान की जो तमाम सरकारी महकमे उनका निजीकरण किया जा रहा है.
जो 3 खेती मंडी तोड़ने वाले ऑर्डिनेंस लेके आए हैं, जिससे खेती मंडी प्रभावित होगी, पूरा किसान मजदूर प्रभावित होगा, देश का हर वर्ग प्रभावित होगा और हमारी होंद को खतरा है. कारपोरेट जगत का हमारी जमीनों पे कब्जा होगा.
Under old rules, hoarding of produce was a criminal offence. The new rules could give traders the chance to stock up food items, making it easier for them to take advantage of rising prices. But Indian Prime Minister Modi has hailed the new laws as a watershed moment which will ensure a complete transformation of the agriculture sector and empower millions of farmers. He says the farmers are being misled.
ऐतिहासिक कृषि सुधारों के मामले में भी जानबूझकर यही खेल खेला जा रहा है. हमें याद रखना है, ये वही लोग हैं जिन्होंने दशकों तक किसानों के साथ लगातार छल किया है.
Farmers have long been seen as the heart and soul of India. Agriculture supports more than half of the country's 1.4 billion people, but for the last 30 years, they've seen an economic downfall. Once accounting for 1/3 of India's gross domestic product, they now produce only 15% of India's GDP, which is currently valued at $2.9 trillion. Farmers have been protesting against the laws for nearly 2 months in Punjab and Haryana states, where they've also been blocking key highways. But the protests gained nationwide limelight in November when thousands of farmers clashed with police who used tear gas, water cannons and batons against them as they tried to enter the capital before finally letting them in. Meanwhile, a meeting between Indian ministers and farmers has failed to break a deadlock over the new laws. An offer to set up expert committees to discuss the new laws has been rejected by the farmers.
मीटिंग में कुछ नहीं निकलिया. सरकार दा राजा भी चर्चा करते रहो, मसला हल नहीं करना. इस करके ਅਸੀਂ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਫ਼ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਚਰਚਾ ਨਾਲ ਕੁਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਣਨਾ. ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨੀ ਪਣੇ ਜਾਂ ਮਸਲਾ ਹੱਲ ਕਰੇ ਜਾਂ ਉਹਦੀ ਤਾਕਤ ਦੀ ਵਰਤੋਂ ਕਰ ਲੇ.
They have vowed to continue protesting and say they won't leave until the government rolls back what they call black laws.
अगर नहीं बोलेगी तो इसके तौण पे गोडा रखकर ਅਸੀਂ मनवा कर जाएंगे, ऐसे नहीं जाएंगे.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Wow.
Farmers are entrenched into defending
Right.
their way of life, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely two ways, right? Even the way that this video was explaining, where like it also exposed themselves to like, exploited by these private sellers. And the major concerning part is where like now there is no regulation, they can stock more products and they can either increase or decrease the price
Right.
based on the demand or the situation.
Right.
So yeah, that kind of leaves the farmers like, let's say I sell this for like a $10 to you, and tomorrow you can be selling it for $30.
Right.
Because you are having the stock with you.
Right.
Like
Yeah, it's price controls. Like here in the States, we do commodity trading, and there's farm trading. Basically, corporate world can control the price of corn or wheat, based upon how the markets fluctuate, much like they trade stocks.
Oh,
And
okay.
that's what they're concerned about.
Okay.
Yeah, so
So I was about to ask you, how does it work over here for farmers? Like if the government set the price or if the private parties set the price?
private industry sets. It's like it's basically a commodity exchange. Works much like the stock market. So supply.
So does
demand.
the farmers still benefit though?
Farmers can benefit, but sometimes they don't, because if the market is low and they have to get rid of corn because of the way the planting season is and corn's depressed, say, they could lose money, but they have to get rid of it anyway. Most farmers don't have the capacity to store it until.
Yeah, right. That's what I was about to say. Yeah. I think that's the one issue. Like they don't have the capacity to have the stock, and which these corporate companies can do, since they are really big enough to hold all that. So
and he clearly, one of the people protesting, clearly said that. I did not know that the government was had a price control measure.
Right. So they used to have like a set price, like they should minimum, the buyers should minimum be buying for this price from the farmers. So what they are, see, that is also again have a pros and cons, right? So let's say if I am able to negotiate with you, I might be capable of selling it to you for $30.
Right.
But if government says you can buy from me only for $10, then there is no room for negotiation for me. So
Right.
there is also pros and cons in that scenario as well.
Right.
But what they are afraid of is, at least in that case, they have a set price where they must pay at least minimum that much for me.
Yeah.
But now there is a freedom where like, so let's say I'm telling like you have to buy from me for $30 and someone else is telling you like you can buy from me for $20. Then now the farmers are going to fight within themselves to gain their place.
Right.
And also it's possible, let's say the government used to have a price set like $30 and now this person can come in and buy this for $20 and $10, which means I'm losing.
Yeah.
But in both laws, I'm finding pros and cons.
Yeah.
It's scarier both ways.
It's
but
hard. Yeah, it's hard. Change is hard.
Yeah.
But I mean, I clearly see the intention is to try to get the government out of those price controls and have it more market based. But the con of that now is, like, they're concerned with is that you have big government. It's happening here in the United States too, where corporate farming is putting small farmers out of business.
that's exactly what they are worried about, because in India, most of the farmers are like small farmers are a lot more compared to, so that's where also they are worried about.
Oh, yeah.
So the large land farmers, like they might be fine. They might still do good.
Right.
But especially for the farmers who go for a very small loan and do in a very smaller area, for them it can be still very riskier and they might lose their, hold there.
But it is interesting, as large as the country is, I was also surprised how much the industry shrank. Now, I don't know if that's a combination of other factors, like I know that the tech sector is booming, other factors are booming, but I would think that, again, you've got, 1.3 billion people?
Right.
That it was only 15%.
Oh yeah, that's scary.
when it was a third, which is where I thought it would be in terms of the come out from. And I would still think it would be in that 25-30% range. Now, obviously, there's probably a lot more importing of goods. And
yeah, like a lot more industries came in, a lot more factories, a lot of buildings now, and people are now more into the luxurious life, so they need all these flats and all bigger buildings rising up. And major issue was the scarcity of water. So because when they build all this, they are taking sand from water. So the water is now like going down. Like so many impacts. Like the factories that are releasing some bad chemicals, emissions, and all the other. Like when the other industries are growing, the major important thing they have to focus on is preserving the water. But it was so damaged with the whole process of the improvement they had. So that's one thing I always find fascinated in US. Wherever I go, I feel like the water is so, better preserved compared to the other places I've been to. It preserved much better compared to the other places.
Well, we have historically had a good supply of clean, fresh drinking water across all of our cities and towns. However, we're having some
definitely.
issues, like from Michigan as well.
I know there are places where you can just drink from the tap directly. You don't even have to filter it. But now there are places in US you cannot do that anymore.
And it's because of, again, corporations that have chemicals seeping into the waterways. And in small cities and towns, because they're storing chemicals in what they call ponds, so that they didn't have to build structures.
Right.
And they don't treat those. And it eventually, underground water, it seeps in there, and it's just
and
bad.
Also they say like the hybrid seeds or like all these pesticides and all that. So from the Western country, they were trying to sell those to the Indian farmers. So when they started adopting that, then they didn't actually because they know their soil very well for a very long time, and they've been doing everything naturally.
Right.
So when they use all these chemicals, that was killing the soil.
If they're introducing that to India, that's interesting.
So all these piled up, and like the same thing, the government was setting the money, but then somebody buys that and keep that in a refrigerator, wax it, and sell it for more money to the market. So the corporate was still doing that even when government set the price. So I don't know if I can speak for other countries. So let me take India. So countries like India who are developing, there are some places where like they dump the waste from other countries. I think US is also a culprit. So they all dump in their ocean. So that also impacts their soil. Like
we used to ship our trash to China. And they said no more when President Trump
now they stopped. Right?
They said no. You sent it.
You have your trash.
There's barges out in the middle of the ocean that just has piles of just trash just floating out in the ocean.
I know, right? That's so heartbreaking.
So
like heartbreaking. I don't know what human has done to this earth.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know even we deserve this place.
We're just trashing it up. And all that plastic is now in the oceans. Fish are dying because you and I, nobody can digest the plastic.
Oh yeah, nobody can.
It just builds up in your system.
Right.
Then you die.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Well, this is so educational, and I really like this is short and explanatory, and I would like to.
It was good for me.
Yeah. I mean, even for me, I've been reading stuffs here and there with people posting in social media. But I'm honestly telling you, I stopped watching any news for about like 1 year now because of Corona. Like I don't want to hear about anything. Even I don't want to accidentally know something about Corona. So I'm like, first 2 months, whatever the knowledge we gained about Corona is good enough to proceed the months. So yeah, this was so helpful. Thank you for this YouTube channel, TRT World. If you guys just know about this channel, I'll post the link below. Make sure you subscribe to their channel. They have very informative stuff there.
All right, yeah. Thank you.
All right then. This is Vasudha signing out from Vaakee Reactions. If you're new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe to our channel.
Hit that bell icon. This is Kevin. Till next time. Bye-bye.